with for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And he took somebody died and they bumped him up.
Um,
So we lost a good man. They bring in a guy I don't know, and you know I met with him on the 30th, which Wednesday of last
You are now watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
Oh, wake up, wake up, wake up. I know it is early, but it's not too early because guess what? It is another episode of Chopping It Up with Coach Cador. I'm Perry White. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself. Roger Cador, my man on the board, Garrett Edgerson, making it all work for us, and I hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. It was a long one, right? You had an opportunity to get a chance to chill out, hang out, watch some football. It was week one of college football and whatever else you wanted to do. If you're not into sports, it just nonetheless get a break and a rest as we transition from August going into September, and hit that subscribe button right there below the video to be able to subscribe every time we go live. And Coach, good to be back with you.
It's good to be back with you, PJ. You like that, huh?
You're a funny guy, man. Listen.
Really? I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, I think you are, man. I think you could be a really good comedian at some point. You not only that, I think motivational speaker, comedian, you ought to be on the road doing speaking engagement nonstop. I think you would be great for that.
Thank you, sir.
You don't think so?
Thank you. I mean, I don't know.
You do know, man, and I know this past weekend you went home.
I went home. They always say you can always come back home.
How was it over there in the New Rose area, New Rose, Louisiana? For a lot of you that may not know and have not listened to the previous episodes, Coach Roger Cador is from that area and had an opportunity to go back to Rosenwald School. That was a school during this time built for education for African Americans to be able to get an education here in this country. There were schools popped up all over the South, and you had an opportunity to go back and speak back in your community about the importance of the Rosenwald School and just being a legend from the New Rose area.
Yeah, when you look back and see, I saw some in the first, there were a couple of people still around, not from the first class, but from the 50s and 60s. To me, that was really, because I was 69, but I saw some people from the 50s there, and I got to talk to a couple older women or more mature women, and one of the persons still alive was my very first coach, Roosevelt Collins. He's 89 years old.
Wow.
He's still really doing good. So I got to spend some time, and I saw some people I hadn't seen in 50 years. So it was good to go back, and it was hot. It was hot, man. It was hot, but we got through it, okay?
Give me a walkthrough of, I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it there. I was over in Montgomery, Alabama this weekend, but a walkthrough of what the day was like as you rode into town, you looked around, and you start to feel up, realize the event is happening for yourself, just looking around and a walk down memory lane for you.
Well, first I got there and I saw so many people. So many people. That was the first thing, and then the organizers just forgot to reserve a parking spot for me. So I was able to navigate through that and work it out, and found one. And then as I walk in, people are yelling. When I say yelling, not yelling, but calling my name, because. And
hey, Roger.
Exactly.
Hey, Coach Cador.
Well, more Roger or Baby or
oh, you got the real. That's what happened when you go home. You start to hear those nicknames again.
Yeah. And the thing is, some I recognize and others I didn't. And, over years, people change that physical. To be able to see the people and know that we all grew up together. We came through the system together. And at the time, nobody knew where we were going to be 40, 50 years from then, So that was it, walking down there. And just being able to sit back when I got under one tent and I was spending time with my former coach, Roosevelt Collins, I sat back in the chair and I was able to observe the people. And I could see some of the mannerism of that area that existed. And that's really what I was just living on reliving some of the way things used to be as I can go back in time and say, oh, this is the way things used to be when I was growing up.
Tell me something. What do you mean about that? I'm not too familiar, I guess, or help me understand what you mean by that.
Well, it's just the way people interact. Every certain part of the world there people interact a little different. And you have to really recognize it, in order to see it, because you would think. But you could see the joking, the laughter, the food, and I mean just the movement of the way people were moving around each other and with each other, for me brought back a tremendous amount of memories.
You talk about the food. Don't mention food now. I gotta.
Everybody had food.
What kind of food was it over there?
It was a little bit of everything. They had the barbecue going, the jambalaya, the chicken, the rib, the shrimp. They had so much food, and obviously the desserts, and I really did a lot of water because it was hot.
Yeah,
and I knew that they wanted me to speak, and it was outside. It wasn't any. I got introduced by the mayor over there, and and you know what? The young lady who got me the invitation, it's a young lady, literally grew up in my house, literally.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
But no relation?
No relation.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, I remember when you were just a little baby girl, and, so she did a good job on working and getting me back there. And sometimes people are afraid to ask people like me, and I'm no one. I'm no more than, I'm not any more important than you. But people start putting people on pedestal that they don't deserve to be on. Have I done some things? Certainly I have. But I'm just a regular type of person, and I think you know that. And that's the way I want to be. That's the way I want to be. And this is why I like when I go into Central and Latin America and South America. I'm just another person. You see, and I like the fact that that's what I am.
I have to ask, you're in so many Hall of Fames, you've been honored so many times. What do you rank when your hometown gives you the call and say, we want you to speak? Where does that rank amongst all of the great accomplishments and the honors that you have gotten?
Well, it means a little more because it's your peers, it's your family, it's your friends. And you know what? They get to reminisce a little. They get to look and say, I remember when he was that.
Because I asked that, because a lot of times when you at these Hall of Fames, you're in a room full of people that you don't even know.
Don't even know.
Right? But now, like you said, people were calling you baby.
Yeah.
Like, it was just familiarity to everything. Like, it felt more personal.
It was more personable. And this is why I gravitated more to the older people, because they're the ones that gave me the support that I needed at the time because of lack of opportunity, lack of not being able to go to school. They're the one that really helped me. It wasn't the young people. It was the older people pulling my hand and saying, okay, we're going to give you an opportunity. We're going to help you. So that's why I gravitated more toward them, because without them, I certainly wouldn't have had this opportunity to be in front of them talking on Saturday.
When you look at now in 2023, going back home, you said there's been people you probably haven't seen in 40, 50 years, just that part to reminisce. Where did you see the area now compared to then?
Well, I saw some things still in the same place because that's part of what happens in areas like that. That's why they don't have the, and it's part politic. It's part that certain families get in a position of power and they never grow the area. They stagnate the people. New Road has had some really talented people to come out of there. And we haven't built upon that, in my opinion, built upon what we really have over there. You got a beautiful area. It's just that, you got to have somebody who are motivated to do what is right for the people and not themselves. And so many times it's all about them and not the people. This is the kind of situation, if I was into politics, and I'm not, I would like to go back and I could make things work, because I wouldn't do it for me, I would do it for the people. And that way you can make it really grow.
a few years back, some years back, I think it was 2015. I went to Montgomery this weekend, but because of that, I can remember I was in Montgomery in 2015, me and one of my boys, Chris Barber, and it was before an Alabama State football game. But that morning, we discussed and said, let's drive over to Selma, Alabama, which was probably about an hour or so outside of Montgomery, just to walk the Edmund Pettus Bridge and just really see the area that we've heard and read so much about. As we drive there and you begin to get into the Selma town or city limits, it was like going back into the past, right? It's still, to me, considering the world that I've been able to travel and see things, I literally felt 1960, 1950 just by the infrastructure, by the way things were in that town. And it just seemed like this is a land that time forgot.
That happens, I'm telling you. I think you nailed it with your analogy of Selma, and so many places are like that. This is what happens when you don't have progressive thinking people in place. That's why you can't fight young people like you who have an idea. Don't it give you a chance, let you fail trying to do it. But don't hold people like you all back. This is when cities and towns lose people like you, they got problems.
That's what happened with my hometown, Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Yeah, Pine Bluff, Arkansas used to be a thriving city.
And then when I was there, I tried to be involved and wanted to do things, but like the same people that helped you said that older generation, the older generation for me didn't want to help, and I call it the gatekeepers. They didn't want to open the door. People got so caught up into their own titles, their own personal agendas, where it lost track of the community and the next generation of leaders and people that can take over. And because of that, you start to see it dwindle down and down and down, because more people that were ambitious and goal-driven and oriented like myself and my classmates, we decided to leave. And then I always use this. Would you rather be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond in the ocean? I'd rather be in the ocean than be in a stagnated pond, right? You get tired of being in the pond. You see the same thing every day, all day. Nothing grows, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. It is what it is. But when you're in the ocean, you can go anywhere. The ocean is all over the world. And that's how I looked at it. I said, man, it's time for me to go into the ocean.
And let me make sure I tell you what, when I say the older people help me, they helped me in my younger age when it was from the education standpoint. Beyond that, I was gone. At 18, I left and went to college, and after college playing baseball, and after baseball coaching. So I never had a chance to go back and make an impact. And nobody ever called me to ask me to come back. That was, and that was something for years I said, I wonder why people never asked me to do anything. And one of the guys who were the mayor, we played basketball together. And he never once asked me to come and say, can you come and talk to the kids? Can you come and do this or that? There were people telling him that I could be an asset, and he never did it. And I couldn't figure it out.
Do you think maybe when you start to talk about small towns like that, that they probably just not keeping up with the news?
He kept up. Come on, man. You're a rock throw away. Come on now.
You are a rock throw away over in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's no different. They get the same station we get in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Okay? They know. And then, damn, if a mayor ain't reading the paper and watching TV, he shouldn't be a mayor. And you wait till I get on that coach, that president who used to be at Jackson State, who didn't do right by the Coach Prime. I can't wait to get on him. I'm pulling a Johnny Cochran. Mark Furman, you wait till I get to you.
I like that. Matter of fact, let's take a break because I like where we're going. And we come back, I want to talk to you about Coach Deion Sanders and what he did this weekend with his Colorado team. So let's take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll continue the conversation more, chopping it up with Cador, all right?
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights, gravitate towards something out of this world, even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college baseball status. An inspiring story of tenacity, faith, and hope. Against All Odds chronicles Coach Cador's determination to reach higher, to want more, and to dig deeper to find the courage to chase his dreams. Against All Odds. Get yours today by Cador & Cador Publishing. You are now watching Choppin' It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
All right, we're back with more of Chopping It Up with Coach Roger Cador. I'm Perry White. He's the man, the myth, the legend himself, Roger Cador. And my other legendary guy right here on the board, my man Garrett Edgerson. That's my guy right there. And guess what, Coach? We got to give a shout-out to Coca-Cola, right? One of our proud sponsors. We got some new stuff up here. Body Armor. Gee, you drink the Body Armor, don't you? You're not a Body Armor drinker? I thought you had drunk that at one time. Excuse me. I know at one time, if there's a soft drink I will drink, I go with the Sprite.
Yeah.
Sprite typically, especially if I eat a good meal, Sprite helps me digest. I got to do a little burping, you know, Coach.
Man,
Yeah. It's one of my choices. But when I get my libations, right, my spirits, like I'm going to do this weekend for the Southern game, right, Southern and Jackson State, I like to mix a little Coca-Cola in my libation.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're talking. Hey, I tried this monster drink for the first time while I was meeting with Coca-Cola on Wednesday last week. They said, we want you to try this drink. It's an energy, 0 calorie, sugar. Oh, my goodness.
You like it?
I love it. I love it. And I think this is something that people who are my age especially would love to have. But this power, there's another drink coming out that is really going to help people for trying to put the electrolyte back in you. It's really, I tried it, it's good, but we can't advertise it yet because they're coming on the market pretty soon.
You know which one's my favorite one up here?
Powerade?
Powerade. After that day of libation with that Coca-Cola mix, on Sunday morning, I need that good old blue Powerade to shake me back, Coach.
Shake you back. I got you.
Get me back on track. And let's talk about it. You talked before we went to break. You brought up prime time, Coach Deion Sanders, and huge victory in the college football world when you look at Colorado going in at a 20-point underdog. What was the spread? Do you remember? 20.5. They were a 20.5 underdog in this game against TCU, Texas Christian University, over in Fort Worth, Texas. Runner-up last year for the national championship as they played Georgia. The game got out of hand, but nonetheless, they were a runner-up, number 2 in the country. They come in this season, number 17. Nobody saw this one coming, Coach. Deion Sanders, Coach Sanders said, I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis. Everybody laughed. He said, I believe. Everybody laughed. He said, we gonna win. Everybody laughed. He said, I'm going to turn this whole program around, starting with the depth chart. Everybody said, you can't do that, Coach. It's not the norm. We don't understand what you're saying. You're coming in with your shades and with the chains. And you're different, and we're not ready for different. And he showed them, guess what? Don't matter if you're ready for it or not, because we coming. And guess what? They showed up. 45-42 over TCU.
Coach Prime is a once-in-a-generation or once-in-a-lifetime kind of coach. And he explained it well. You know, people are not comfortable with a black man like him who do a lot of talking and say things. And then he's got 75% black kids in his locker room. They're not comfortable with that kind of stuff. They're afraid because it's not the norm. But you know what? Might as well get used to it. You might as well, because he is going to do. And listen, man, I did coaching for 40 years, okay? So I know what coaching is like. And people love putting you in a box. But he ain't getting in that box. You see, he's not getting in that box. He's always done things his way. And he's been an confident type of person. And he was born with some of this characteristic traits. He didn't just start it. He was doing it as a player. He was talking and backing it up. You know, he backed it up. So, and the thing about it is that, you know how many fathers out there and mothers out there want that son to play for him? If you just listen to his motivational speaking to the kids. This is what kids need to hear. Listen, man, the guy's smart. He knew damn well he wasn't going to be doing a whole lot of head coaching. He went and got head coaches to coach for him so he could do the other things that he does. And he let them coach their players. See, they probably come up with a game plan and they put it into play, and he said, okay, let's go execute it. He ain't over there trying to call plays. He got coaches doing that. But a lot of people want to be in charge because they got a title that says what? Head coach. He knows he's got a title that says head coach, but he knows that there are other things that he has to do in order for the program to work. Raise money. Go get the top number 5 prospect, or whatever they rate him, number 5 star, 4 star. He's going to get them kind of players. And the big schools got to be shaking in their shoes because they don't want to see happen what is going to happen. And this is what I said to a lot of people over the years. You're not going to be able to stop what is going to happen. See what happened in slavery when they made it the two strongest, the black man with the black woman, and they produced a different kind of offspring. See, it's all over. They did it, and it's going to happen. And the African American, well, blacks always had certain type of physical traits that were superior anyway. And it's only going to carry over and over and over, and it's going to be a long time coming.
I like what you said, just being honest about being a black man. He said it personally and said it best in front of the media.
Yeah.
This makes you uncomfortable because you're not used to a black man being up here, being him, unapologetically him, telling you what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, and he gets it done.
And you can't stop him. That's really.
And you can't stop him, and he got his own style and flair about it. A lot of times I think, especially in the world that we live in, it's the comfortability factor. Take a black man walk into a room with 50 white men. 50 white men not going to make sure that one black man is comfortable. That one black man is going to have to conform and get with the program if he think he's going to make it in that room, right?
To a large extent.
But you take 50 black men and let a one white man come in, they're going to try their best to make that one white man feel comfortable.
Yes.
Right? Deion is letting everybody know right now, it doesn't matter if you're comfortable or not. I'm here and we coming, and I'm going to do it my way. And for those that doubt and don't believe, I'm showing you still, because Saturday after the game, he kind of, I won't say lashed out, but he kind of threw it back in the media face because everybody was scrutinizing him. Mm-hmm. Coaches were saying this is not how it's done, and it's an unorthodox way. It's different. And he said, I've read y'all stuff. The media was trying to act like now we on board. Yeah, Coach Sanders, you know. He's like, no, but I know what's going on. You didn't believe. Matter of fact, I know you didn't believe, and you trying to ask me questions. I read what you wrote. Mm-hmm. He said that bull jump. I read that bull jump that you wrote, and y'all don't think I pay attention, but I watch it. I see him in the room, and I read the room. Next question. You know, and that's how I like that. Treat them. Put them in their place. Let them know you not here for that, coach.
And writers can't have all of the power to write what they want anyway.
There you go.
Without someone putting them in place. This is what happened. You give them too much latitude, and they write everything, and they influence people's mind.
They do. And it ultimately changes the perception because sometimes it can paint you to be a villain.
That's right. That's right. So you have to control writers to make sure they do the thing honestly and equitably. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't, they'll do you in.
I love what I'm seeing from him, man, and there are a lot of people that's hating on Deion too. I saw it, and
it's gonna happen. I'm not worried about all the ones that are hating on him because as a person like me, I know they hated Jesus Christ. So come on, that's not.
You had them haters too?
I didn't worry about them. I embraced them because I knew they were there.
You ain't doing something right if you ain't got no haters.
That's right. My son used to ask me all the time, Dad, why you hate people you know don't like you? Mm-hmm. And I say, son, you never know when that person who don't like you, you may be in need, he might help you.
Yeah, that's right. That's
why you got to do it. And I tell people all the time, and they say, well, it's you don't understand. I do understand. You just can't. You got to make the people who don't like you feel uncomfortable by liking them.
That's right. You put your hand on the shoulder. You like me? Do you like me or you don't like me? What is it? Let me ask, how big of a loss for Jackson State to lose a guy like Coach Prime Deion Sanders? Because I know you've been big about that president and you've been big about the community of Jackson not seeming to realize how big of a situation they had and understanding what you call them, the golden goose, the golden goose with the golden egg or something like, to allow him to leave. And I won't say allow, but it didn't seem like they rallied to do everything to keep him.
They didn't do anything to keep him.
Yeah.
Not everything, not much. And that's why I have a problem is that you get somebody like him and you don't understand what you have. Not everybody had a chance to get a Deion. Southern wouldn't have hired Deion. They would have never, because they couldn't deal with the way he was. Mm-hmm. Well, the hell with the way he is. What is he going to do to make us better?
That's it.
Now, the Ed Reed thing, I could never hide in Ed Reed. Mm-hmm. But Deion was different. Why? He was so different. And the people, Ashley Robertson, the AD, what a brilliant move, and a young man, you're probably your age, who understood, we got someone here, let's give him a chance. That's why you got to embrace young people. I know people, I've always been big that we got to give our young people a chance. They've got good ideas. They see things we can't always see. You got me?
Yeah, Southern seems sometime, and I can move forward. Southern seems to say, well, you have to be from Southern to be able to understand and know Southern.
Not always.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have a Southern person around, but, Southern is changing.
Yeah.
It's evolving. It hadn't been in a long time the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I've been
the Southern way.
I probably wouldn't know if I go back. And I'm a Southern guy. I got 50-some years relationship with Southern. Would you think that's a Southern guy?
You are a Southern guy through and through.
Swag. I'm a swag. I am swag.
Ah, yeah. I like that. Who is swag? He is swag. All right, let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back and continue the conversation more, chopping it up with Cador.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time. Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place. Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
With over 60 years of combined experience, Kathy Sherburne and Anna Barnett bring a wealth of knowledge and excitement to the framing industry. Keeping strong to the Louisiana culture, Acadian Frame and Art has numerous local artists and sports team memorabilia for their customers to choose from. Whether you're creating a gallery-like setting in your office or simply looking for some fun art for your kids' playroom, Acadian Frame and Art is your one-stop picture framing spot. Call 225-927-6129 or go to www.acadianframe.com.
Get the memoir from the legendary baseball coach from Southern University, Roger Cador, Against All Odds. Roger refused to let his past dictate his future by rising to legendary college. Against All Odds chronicles Coach Cador's determination to reach higher, to want more, and to dig deeper to find the courage to chase his dreams. Against All Odds. Get yours today by Cador & Cador Publishing. You are now watching Chopping It Up with Roger Cador and Perry White.
Back more of Chopping It Up with Cador. I am Perry White, also known as PJ.
To me, you are.
Yeah, that's it. And right, named by this guy right here, Roger Cador, Coach Roger Cador, Hall of Famer Roger Cador, and my man right here on the board, Garrett Edgerson. We're going to continue the conversation as we get going. You look at college football, it started this past week. Week 1 took off. You look at NFL, it's getting started up. Coming up this week, man, a lot going on. MLB is still rolling. We're going to be almost on the backside of MLB here soon, right?
Yeah, we got 20-some days left. Dusty and I talked on Thursday last week, and he said, hey, man, you hadn't been by to visit me. And he said, I said, well, we need to get you on the podcast. He said, you better hurry. We're almost out. So I'm once I get back I told him where I was going, and I said, once I get back, I'll call, set it up.
Huge honor if we can get Dusty on to get him here on the show, man. I've been begging you anyway to try to get this guy, but I know you say you don't like to bother people. You let people do their job and work. So I understand.
And I know what Dusty is going through. So, I didn't. Mondays are the time to do it, and I don't know. Maybe we hadn't had many Mondays. I just wanted to wait it out. You know.
Huge weekend in Baton Rouge coming up. Grambling and Southern are going to be in town along with Jackson State. Grambling taking on LSU. First time both schools will meet coming up this weekend. And Jackson State and Southern for the Pete Richardson Classic. Huge game when you look at the weekend in Baton Rouge with LSU and Grambling, Southern, Jackson State right here in the city, man. It should be alive this weekend, Coach.
It really ought to. I won't be here, but it ought to be a lot going on. And I think the Southern Jackson series have really turned into a really good event, good rivalry, crowd loving it, and then the bands on top of that. I just think it's a big weekend.
Yeah, it is, man. Jackson State, when you look at Southern, both teams played last year for the SWAC championship. Deion Sanders getting his last victory. He lost in the Celebration Bowl, but getting his last victory as a head coach at Jackson State against who? Southern University in the SWAC championship.
Well, this game is even more important because both teams have already lost the game in the SWAC conference. So, they are really fighting literally for their life right here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And, man, you're talking about some hot seats. Jackson's and Southern fans don't like losing, let alone losing to each other. And the fact that both teams come in with a loss from out of last week, Jackson State now 1-1 on the season. Their fans are not looking to go 1-2. And Southern's fans damn sure not trying to go 0-2. You know Southern fans too well, right? They are not trying to lose, and for sure not trying to lose to Jackson State. So the seat is going to heat up a little bit for Coach Eric Dooley. He's going to have to be prepared and ready to play because this game is, I think, right now might be a sellout. There's only a few more tickets left. Start 0-2 on the big stage.
Backing out. And my whole thing is that you can't give up.
Yeah.
On the season and a team this early because you can turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
It can be turned around. So, and this is the coach's second year. You just got the football the way things are now. It's It's hard to just win right away, you know?
Coach Sanders say, hey, we coming. We coming. We coming. This ain't that day of excuses, though, boy. You could turn a roster around in 6 months and get ready to get out there and play. That's all, Coach. That's all.
I don't think the people at Southern would let Eric Dooley do that.
I think they did.
They wouldn't do it. No, they would be worried about the adverse publicity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get a person worried about adverse publicity. When you're trying to make changes, you're going to have adverse publicity because you're going to hurt somebody's feeling.
Yeah. You look at Pete Richardson, a legend in his time. You were around a lot longer than Pete, but at the same time, you guys' timelines were around, it met. In the 90s as Pete came to Baton Rouge from Winston-Salem State. And it is the Pete Richardson Classic, having the opportunity to honor him. Baseball needs a Roger Cador tournament or something. They do. What you think, G? What that sound like? It needs to have a Roger Cador tournament and invite all the Louisiana teams to it and play it.
Ain't going to happen.
Man, see, my mind always starts to think.
Because the way things are now with the baseball, it's money-making. And teams ain't going to want to give up that date.
To play in the Roger Cador Classic?
Where you going to play that?
At Southern?
There you go.
Yeah. Hold on, I believe. Look, at the field that Cador built.
You got to play it at LSU or in the Superdome. One or the other, where you can make money.
Well, I'll play it there, and then if I can't get the big schools, I'll go get the Southeasterns, the Nichols, the McNeeses, the Northwestern states. Then we'll do it that way. But I'm going to play the Roger Cador Classic at the field Roger Cador helped build, all right? There's no doubt about it. That's the only way that's going to work for me if I see it. And bring that money and that opportunity and publicity to the campus of Southern University, because you did that your whole career. But you look at the other side with Pete Richardson, your thoughts of him being honored to have a game, the field named after Pete Richardson, and then having this huge game on that Pete Richardson Classic.
Well, Pete is a quiet guy, and I'm sure he'll appreciate it, but he doesn't show a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
And he sort of, and I love the fact that he and I were at Southern at the same time, along with Ben Jobe and Johnny Thomas, where so many good things took place in terms of winning.
Mm-hmm.
We had a really good run there with the coaches, and the thing I remember about Pete is that he just did his job so unassumingly. Never made any a noise about what he didn't have. And when he was winning so much in the 90s and the early 2000s, they never put money in his program to upgrade facilities. And I know quietly he said to me once when we were talking in the hallway, he said, we're missing opportunities to upgrade so we could look for the future. And so he wasn't going to go fight administration because that's not his MO, you know what I'm saying? He kept putting winning programs on the field, kept winning for the people, and the administration never showed any appreciation.
The investment part, going out and doing your work in the community with the corporate partnerships and sponsorships, getting the community to buy in and realizing when you have success, you got to jump on it while the success is there, because success doesn't last forever.
It doesn't last forever. And if you don't do it when you're hot, you're certainly going to turn cold.
Yeah.
Once you take that iron out that fire.
Mm-hmm.
G's saying yes.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time at that point. And you look at the opportunities, and I've always thought Southern, for me, when I look at Southern Athletics to me is a sleeping giant because the fan support. Nobody else in Louisiana outside of LSU has the fan support, no matter how big or small the school is. When you look at the fan support, Southern can go anywhere. We went to Montgomery this weekend. Southern fans packed it out on that side of the field. Not many teams do that. It's the reason why it's called the Jaguar Nation. And for me, Southern has always had the possibility to be not a Power 5, but a Group of 5 on the same scale of like I look at a ULM, a Monroe, a Louisiana Tech, a ULL. All those schools were once little bitty schools. But they grew into something because it was the investment of the little success that they had, and they made sure they capitalized on that success when they had it.
I agree. You need corporate sponsors, investment, and you need You need people to give more than buy tickets.
Yeah.
And you got to come up with creative ways you can let the little person be able to give.
Tickets just what people don't understand. I'm a season ticket holder. That's just for the operation costs. Right. That's just to cut the lights on today, pay the police officers to patrol, and just have the game day experience. That's not helping to grow to the next level.
And we've got to educate our people and then create something that the small people can invest in and feel good about investing. You got to create the $100, the $200, $300, $400, $500 stuff where people can be a part of.
Yeah, because I think we often lose track, and I saw it working with the Alumni Federation. They target the big money people too much.
I'd rather have 100 people giving me $100 than one person trying to give me
all that.
You know, it's going to be harder to get that one.
And you run the well dry.
You run the well dry. But
Right.
if you keep people, the small people involved, engaged, they'll get you making them feel good.
Yeah, because when you disconnect from them, you make them feel like, well, I'm not a part, and you don't care. I don't care if you give me $1. Thank you. That's better than no dollars.
We have a lot of small people. We don't have a lot of big givers.
Yeah.
We're going to have more small givers. You know, after they give to the church, it ain't much left.
Hey, if we only gave to education the same way we did give to the church, right?
Give it to the preacher, Red. Let's cut the preacher off. He doesn't need to be paid.
Not for the word of God, huh?
Nah, it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's cut that rascal off. Oh, I know there's a preacher out there listening to me. I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just telling the truth.
You're telling the truth because you're pushing towards to understand the importance of education. And education matters, which you spoke this past weekend.
And that's what, and when I went and talked in Europe and I talked about Rosenwald, Julius Rosenwald and Booker T. Washington, they were the one that created the Rosenwald building, school building. They built 5,000 schoolhouses. Not school, but houses. And in the 20s, black folks gave in excess of $4 million to help with the building of these schools.
And that is a lot of money in the 20s.
By black folks who couldn't make money.
Mm-hmm.
That lets you know they put a value in education, not the preacher. That value of education. And that's why we were able to uplift so many people and get them out, and the teacher was so good. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm always impressed about, especially when I think about the older generation, how many black folks who wasn't making a lot of money and wasn't getting a lot, but they were able to buy land, they were able to buy houses, they were able to have things for the next generation. And you think about that, they wasn't making the money that's out there in the world today, but the ability to save and to own, and how important that was to invest in yourself.
They put a value on what was important. They bought land and they bought home and they put in education.
It wasn't about the cars, the shoes, the clothes, the fashion, and all the materialistic things, right?
That's right. They did it right. And it's just that the system had a foot on their neck and they couldn't really overcome a lot of stuff. You know, that's why Booker T. Washington partnering with Julius Rosenwald was important, because the white man, he was able to get things done that Booker T wasn't going to get done.
Mm-hmm. That's big stuff, man, and
it's big stuff. Yeah,
it makes me look back on it, and just that's the respect that I have, because I look now, especially when you see families that have that land that was acquired by their great grandparents and grandparents, and by the time you get, unfortunately, to my generation, we kind of ready to sell it off, right? We kind of lose the respect of the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that they put in to work their asses off in order to have land to pass down, in order to have a home to pass down, and we kind of just push it off like it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't to them. But that's the time we live in.
Yeah. The dollar. Everybody like a little money, right, Coach?
And you need a little money to make it in the world today. I mean, I'm not going to be foolish and say we don't. because you do need it, because everything costs.
Inflation is high. The grocery store visits these days. G, what you think about the grocery store these days, man?
I was about to say something. It's not cool. It ain't cool at all. You spend, everybody always say it's better to grocery shop. Nowadays, grocery shopping and going out to eat, same price.
It is. It is. You'll go to the grocery store and have about 6 items, and they tell you $60. The hell's going on in here? You used to be able to get that about $25, but the inflation is through the roof, and things are expensive. You factor in the gas, you factor in the cost of living is constantly going up. You factor in now the price of food is going up. The cost of living is going up. That's why it's good to be successful in retirement like yourself, man.
Thank you. It's good to be retired.
I'm sure it is.
And, and I live a conservative life, which help. I stay within my means. I understand that. And I try to tell my son the same thing, You don't get to a certain place unless you make sacrifices. And plan for the future. It took some planning, to be where I am. And so
I'm a very conservative guy too when it comes to spending.
I think you are. I've watched you. You're doing a good job. Stay the course. Try to do the 20% saving. You're gonna have 50% of what you make is gonna go for your living. Electricity, rent, blah blah blah, gas for the car, and all.
And living will get you.
30% is gonna go to meals, eating out, buying groceries, blah blah, and the 20%. You save. That's the Jewish way of doing it. And we're not putting the Jewish system of thing was created way back in Bible time. And they put a great system in place, how you should make it. And that 50, 30, 20% really does work if you follow it.
Yeah, especially with my generation, a lot of people don't understand my way of doing things, but my generation is caught up into the materialistic lifestyle. So they spend an excess of a lot of money that could be saved on the cars, the clothes, the shoes, all for the opinions of others, the likes, the videos, and all of that stuff for others. And for me, I've been there and did that. And I tell people all the time, all the money I spent in my younger day on all that stuff, I don't even know where half that stuff is to even show for. I don't know where them Jordans at. I don't know where them hats and them shirts for real, because you move around so much. I've lived in different places, so eventually stuff just along the way you just don't know. And I'm beyond that, and I'm beyond the opinions of others these days. I'm beyond the wanting to be accepted and wanting to be a part. I am who I am, and I'm okay with that.
That's good.
Yeah. But a vast majority of my generation now, because of the social media generation, it makes it hard to say, because everybody wants to go out and eat and take pictures of what they eat, and everybody want to get this latest shoe or clothes or all of this and take pictures of it so everybody can think they live this lifestyle. And what it has created now, it has created a world that to struggle is bad. To struggle is horrible. And if you struggle, who are you? Struggle is a part of life. Struggle is natural. Everybody's not always up, but that's the facade of the world we live in, that everybody's always up and that you're different if you're not always up. I ain't trying to live a lifestyle to portray that I'm always up, because I'm not always up.
You're always good, though. How about that?
I'll take good, because I put myself in a position to be flat for right now until the next thing comes along. But I'll be good. But struggles happen. Unavoidable things happen in life that you have to be prepared for. And that's why I save, especially having a son, right? This summer, I took my son on a trip of a lifetime for him. I saved for that, and I felt better. Although I spent a lot of money. But you know what? It's the memories, because still to this day, he's going to talk to me about the summer. That's what matters to me, the experience. Not all that other stuff, making sure that I spent it towards something that will be a lasting memory for his entire life. That's where I get a good feel from.
And you know what? Those are the kind of situation where when you save for those kind of adventure, it really matters.
It matters.
It matters. It matters for the kid, because he's at an age where he's learning. He's like a sponge. He's picking up everything. You know what I'm saying? So he's learning a great deal. And, I only wish at that age I had a chance
Mm-hmm.
to do. All of my experiences came after I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. So, it doesn't mean you're not gonna make it, but the road is a little more difficult.
Yeah. I looked at that bank account. I said, damn. I think I called G. I told G, I said, man, but at the end of the day, it all was worth it. And that's how I feel, because I know a lot of people will go give it to the casino. A lot of people will go give it to the local clothes store and shoe store. I gave it to my son, and I felt good about it and his experience with it. So
That's good.
that's what mattered to me most, Coach. Coach, what you got going on coming up this week?
I'll be in the Central America country of Panama with MLB doing overseeing clinics in 3 parts of the country. We'll do one in Chiriquí, which is in the western part of the country, right near the Costa Rica border. And then we do one in David, which is the second largest city in the country. And then we go do one in Santiago. Well, not Santiago. We call it the sugarcane area. That's where the former major leaguer Carlos Lee is from. And sugarcane is known in that part of the country. So we'll get to see 3 different type of part that I hadn't been able to visit in Panama.
You looking forward to it?
Looking forward to it. Because it's a lot of kids will be able to be taught and take advantage of what we bring it into it.
It's going to be hot down there, huh?
It's going to be hot, and
Yeah.
this is their rainy season, so we're going to have to fight the rain a little. But it's been hot. It's been hot everywhere. Definitely. This is supposed to not be the hottest part of the year, but they said it's been unusually hot.
Yeah, August, I think, was the hottest month on record for here in Louisiana with the consecutive amount of days in triple digits. And so, man, this is good. I'm happy for you, man. I hope you have fun down there. One day you're going to have to take me with you, man, so I can go down there and hang out and see what it looked like.
It's a good place.
Well, guess what? We've come to the end of another episode. I didn't want it to end, but guess what? We got to end it as the day goes on. Want to thank our sponsor, Coca-Cola, with all these wonderful things. We got Sprite, Body Armor, Powerade, the Monster Energy drink, and, of course, the original Coca. Does Coke, do you drink Coke?
Every now and then.
Has the formula changed? Do you think it tastes better
it's
back
changed.
then?
It changed. Back then it was a lot better because it had a little more kick to it. But now they had to water it down a little, and I understand.
I know a generation, especially like my grandmother and that generation, they say used to put peanuts in their Coca-Cola.
That's right.
You heard of that before?
Yes, I done that.
Yeah, what does that do?
Well, it make it a little more saltier. But let me
Look
tell
at
you,
G-Face.
the people in Panama, a lot of people drink Coca-Cola for coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing in Mexico. They'd use that as their coffee.
Remember the days of a Coke float?
Yes.
Yeah, Coke float. But my grandma used to tell me about the peanuts in the Coca-Cola. G-Face was like, what? But yeah, they actually used to do that. G put the peanuts in the Coca-Cola.
I've seen a man in a walking suit do it.
Was it you?
Yes.
Yeah. Coach is looking at himself in the mirror. Hey, want to thank everybody out there for joining us today. And if you go back and watch the show, well, thank you for supporting. Guess what? Hit that subscribe button right there below this video. Become a subscriber. Follow the show. Go back and watch any of the previous episodes and continue to keep up with us as we go live. You never know. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday being a holiday, so we switched it up a little bit. And so we are live today and wasn't here yesterday. So that notification bell will come down and give you an opportunity to know anytime that we decide to jump on. You never know with us, all right? So thank you guys for tuning in. He's the man, the myth, the legend, Roger Cador. I'm Perry White, and my man on the board, Garrett Edgerson. And, Coach, get us up out of here.